Biomaterial-based Therapeutics and Devices, ICBTD 2025. We are truly honored to have you with us for this exciting and crucial event. I invite our respected dignitaries, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Rajasekharan Pillai, respected Chair of the Conference, Professor H. Sivaram, Dr. Hari Krishna Verma, former President of Society of Biomaterials and Artificial Organs India, the convener of the conference, Dr. Biji Balakrishnan, and co-convener, Professor Ramesh Lekurwale, to kindly proceed to the dais for the inaugural ceremony. The challenge is not just inventing new technologies, but translating them from the laboratory to the patient. That's where the real impact of innovation is measured. This conference aims to provide a platform where we can explore this in detail. This conference is jointly organized by Somaiya Center for Integrated Science, Education and Research, CISER, and the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Somaiya Vidya Vihar University. The conference is supported by Internal Quality Assurance Cell, SVU, Research Foundation, DST, and is endorsed by Society of Biomaterials and Artificial Organs, India, SBAOI. Let us commence this event with the auspicious lighting of the lamp. I request our respected dignitaries on the dais, along with the convener and co-convener, to kindly grace the ceremony. Thank you, dear dignitaries. With the lamp now lit, let us invoke God's blessings with the chanting of our campus prayer. I invite Ms. Ruchi Fonseca from Maya Somaiya School of Music and Performing Arts to lead us in reciting the prayer, requesting all to kindly rise for the same.
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जिथा मा गृध कस्य स्विद्धनम् मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपात्तमहं वन्दे परमानन्द माधवम् ॐ प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवीत्र्यवतु ॐ चोदयेत्री सूनृतानां चेतन्ती सुमतीनां यज्ञं दधे सरस्वती ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यौ करवावहै तेजस्विनावधितमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै सर्वेत्र सुखिना सन्तु सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कृध दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः
Thank you, Ms. Ruchi. An event of this magnitude demands a visionary and a believer who can turn a vision into reality. I now invite the visionary of this conference, our convener, Dr. Biji Balakrishnan from SISA Department, a well-known researcher in the field of biomaterials and clinical application, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Dr. Jacinta. Honorable Chancellor, Sri Semir Somay Sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor V. N. Rajshekhara Pillai Sir, Conference Chair, Professor of Eminence, Professor S. Shivaram Sir, Dr. Harikrishna Verma, Head Biomedical Technology Wing, Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute for Medical Science and Technology, and former President of SBAOI and elected Fellow of the International Union for Societies of Biomaterial Science and Engineering, HOIs, HODs, and Deans, delegates, colleagues, and my dear students. Very good morning and a warm welcome to each one of you. As a convener, Welcome you all to the International Conference on Clinical Translation of Biomaterial-based organized with the support of IQAC and SVU and ANRF DST, endorsed by Society of Biomaterials and Artificial Organs India. This is a two-day event, and we are incredibly fortunate to have very distinguished speakers from India and abroad. Our speakers come from various domains, including entrepreneurs, clinicians, researchers, and academicians, reflecting the truly interdisciplinary nature of the field of biomaterial science. This diversity will undoubtedly make our sessions rich with insight and varied perspectives. Tracks involved are related to biomaterial design and processing, therapeutics and diagnostics, regulatory and ethical guidelines, data science-driven approaches, industry perspective, and polymeric biomaterials. Conference has participants from research as well as academic institutions, including Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute for Biomedical Science and Technology, IIT Bombay, IIT Ropar, Ramnarayan Ruya College, ICT, Dr. Vishwanath Karad, MIT, World Peace University, Pune, Homi Bhabha State University, Mumbai, Mahatma Gandhi University, Kerala, Anna University, Amity University, Mumbai, Mumbai University, Japan Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, VGTI, and our Somya Vidya Vihar University. The representation from such diverse academic institutions adds great value to this event, highlighting the strength and collaborative spirit of the biomaterial community. Moreover, we are also joined by delegates from medical industry, Springer Nature, and startups. While the field has seen remarkable advances over the years, there still exists a significant gap between research and its translation into practical clinical applications. Many challenges, including creating a conducive research environment, fostering collaboration between clinicians and industry, securing adequate funding, navigating intellectual property rights, and addressing ethical and regulatory issues stand in the way of successful clinical translation. But I firmly believe that this conference will serve as a platform to bridge these gaps, bringing together experts and thought leaders to find ways to overcome these challenges. Let us use this opportunity to explore new ideas, forge strong collaborations, and build a future where biomaterials can truly make a meaningful impact on healthcare and well-being of mankind. Once again, I thank you all being here. I wish each one of you a fruitful and inspiring conference, filled with thought-provoking discussions and exciting new ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Biji, for setting the tone for the conference and highlighting the key features and the rich diversity that this conference offers. We shall now have the official unveiling of the conference souvenir. I invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Rajsekharan Pillai, along with Professor Shivaram and Dr. Hari Krishna Verma to do the honors. Our esteemed Vice Chancellor Sekharan Pillai is a person of remarkable vision 50 years to address the gathering.
They will chair of this conference, Professor Shiva, for the last 5 years. Dr. From the SBOAI, Professor Rohit Srivastava, Chair Professor in IIT Mumbai, Professor Rashmi from University of Connecticut, Dr. B.G. Balakrishnan, who is the person behind this conference. She did everything with the students. Institution. Professor Likur, Department of Mechanical Engineering and Director of the Internal Quality Assurance Cell of the university and representing the K.J. Somaiya School of Engineering. Other distinguished delegates for this conference, my colleagues from the university, deans, pro-vice chancellor, and director, all my colleagues from the university, my dear students and other invitees. First of all, let me congratulate Dr. B.G. Balakrishnan and her team for initiating the preparation for a conference like this. I am also glad that Somaiya Vidyavihar universities, 2 young departments, the students of the 2 young departments of the university are behind the organization of this conference. Of course, one is the Somaiya Center for Integrated Science Education and Research, in which the BSMS program is being conducted. And the other is not just a young department, but Department of Mechanical Engineering of the K.J. Somaiya College of Engineering, which is doing some remarkable work in the area of biomechanics and biomedical devices. And let me congratulate those 2 institutions which are taking part in this, which are taking proactive participation in this event. There is no need of emphasizing the importance of a conference to an audience of this kind. I know this is a very selected audience and the subject is also very, very specialized. And I welcome all of you to the university, which is, as a university, we are only 5 years old, as a university. But as an education institution, we are 80 years old. We have a tradition, and 80 years old. We have a beautiful campus here, Vidya Vihar, and we have an Ayur Vihar campus, another campus 4 kilometers away with our medical institution, teaching in medical institutions and related areas. We are also strong in research. We have large number of PhD holders in our institutions and large number of research guides, but of course we have to establish in research, we had to probably inculcate research culture in a very significant way in the university. For as a university, we are expected to do much more research, and therefore interventions of this kind are very important for a university. That is the first and foremost point I want to say. I welcome all of the delegates of this international conference on biomaterials-based therapeutics and medical devices. It's a genuine pleasure to see so many distinguished researchers, clinicians, industry leaders, and aspiring scientists as speakers of this conference. This conference represents a vital opportunity for the university, for us to collectively explore the exciting frontiers of biomaterials and their transformative potential in healthcare. For centuries, medicine has relied on materials to mend, repair, and replace. From the earliest sutures to modern prosthetics, materials have played a crucial role in improving human health. However, the 21st century has witnessed a revolution in material science, giving rise to biomaterials, materials designed to interact with biological systems to diagnose, treat, augment, and replace tissues and organs. This field has exploded in recent years, driven by deeper understanding of the intricate interplay between materials and living matter. This conference, I understand, is particularly timely. We stand at the cusp of a new era in medicine, one where biomaterials are no longer simply passive components, but active participants in healing processes. We are moving beyond traditional implants and devices towards sophisticated bioresponsive materials that can deliver drugs, promote tissue generation, and even monitor physiological conditions in real time. Imagine materials that can adapt to the changing needs of the body, releasing therapeutic agents only when and where they are needed, or scaffolds that guide the growth of new tissue, seamlessly integrating with the host. This is the promise of biomaterials-based therapeutics and medical devices. Over the next few days, we will delve into a wide range of cutting-edge topics reflecting the breadth and depth of this dynamic field. We will hear from leading experts on the latest advances in biomaterial design, synthesis, and characterization. In this connection, I am proud to say that we have also very active postgraduate teaching and research department in polymer science, which is looking at polymer materials in a significant way. Discussions will focus on novel drug delivery systems, including targeted nanoparticles and controlled release matrices, which hold immense potential for treating a variety of diseases, from cancer to chronic infections. We will also explore the exciting field of tissue engineering and regenerative medicine, where biomaterials are being used to create scaffolds that mimic natural extracellular matrix, providing a framework for cells to grow and differentiate into functional tissues and organs. Furthermore, from the brochure, I find that we are going to examine the development of innovative medical devices, including biosensors to earlier disease detection, smart implants that can monitor patient health, and minimally invasive surgical tools that improve patient outcomes. This conference is not just about showcasing the scientific breakthroughs, it is also about fostering collaboration. We have brought together researchers from academia, industry, and clinical practice, recognizing that progress in this field requires multidisciplinary approach. The challenges we face are complex, requiring expertise from material science, biology, medicine, and engineering, and other disciplines. This is a multidisciplinary university covering all these areas: undergraduate education, postgraduate education, and research. By sharing our knowledge, exchanging ideas, and forging new partnerships, we can accelerate the translation of research findings into real-world clinical applications. I encourage you all to actively participate in the sessions, engage in lively discussions, and network with your colleagues. This conference provides a unique platform to learn from each other, to challenge the existing paradigms, and to inspire new avenues of research. Let us use this opportunity to explore the full potentials of biomaterials and work together to create innovative solutions that improve human health and well-being. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the organizing committee for their tireless efforts in putting together this exceptional conference. I also thank our sponsors for their generous support, which has made this event possible. Finally, I thank all of you being here. I am confident that this conference will be a resounding success, and I look forward to a stimulating and productive few days. Thank you very much. I am also glad that in this inaugural session, we are remembering Professor M.S. Valiyathan, the stalwart in this area who died a few months ago at the age of 91, who gave the first public lecture in this university, Somaiya Vidyagara University. He gave the first public lecture, which is being now carried in a very significant way. Professor Ramas Valiyathan, he is being introduced. So I am glad that there is a remembrance about him as some sort of a. Let me wish the program all success. Mr. Samir Somaiya will be reaching any time. He called me just before this conference. He will be coming, and he has told me to extend the best wishes to you. Samir Somaiya is a distinguished chemical engineer, and he is also the chancellor of this university. He will be here at any time. Thank you very much. Wish the conference all success.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful words and for highlighting the significance of the conference theme. Thank you for your continued encouragement and support. We shall now have the address by the chair of the conference, Professor Shivram, an emeritus professor and INSA emeritus scientist at IISER Pune, renowned for his pioneering work in alkylation and olefin polymerization. He is a recipient of several awards. I request sir to deliver his address.
Thank you. No need for so many introductions like the Vice Chancellor just mentioned. Very good morning to all of you. It's indeed a great pleasure for me to be here. The Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Rajshekaran Pillai, Dr. H.K. Verma from the Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Science and Technology, the Director, IQAC, other distinguished members of the faculty and officers of the university who are sitting in the audience, invited guest speakers, and my fellow students. I think we are all very happy that this event is finally here. It has been in planning for about 6 months or so, and like they say, an event well begun is like an event ending well. My compliments to the organizers of this conference, especially Dr. Biji Balakrishnan, for shouldering the heavy responsibility of putting together this impressive program that we are about to have for the next 2 days, and bringing people from far and near to the campus of Somaiya Vidyavihar University for this purpose. I do hope that every one of you have a great time, fruitful deliberations on a subject of great interest. Clinical translation of biomaterial-based therapeutic and devices. It's indeed a very enigmatic title of a conference. Clinical translation is never, at least in this country, thought of as a major focus effort of an academic institution. We always believe that clinical translation is somebody else's job. Unlike other parts of the world where clinical translation is a key component of academic research, where there is a close collaboration between clinicians and scientists in the same institutions or across a few institutions. In India, to the best of my knowledge, I will be corrected because I am not necessarily an expert, a lot of research gets done in the area of biomaterials in research labs, especially in IITs, in various other institutions are publicly funded by the government of India. Many of them are done by people who are engineers or scientists, but by the time they reach a TRL level 4 or 5, more or less they hit a blind spot. They need to move out of that environment in order to do further validation, and then eventually, after they meet all the safety and other requirements move into animal and clinical trials with humans. And this is where the big gap in this country exists. Most of the academic institutions, in spite of some of them having a hospital and a medical school nearby, do not talk to each other. And of course, some of the institutions like IITs are now building hospitals within IITs. IIT Bombay is doing it, IIT Kharagpur is doing it, IIT Madras is building a hospital, Indian Institute of Science Bangalore is building a major research hospital, in the hope that in the future there will be a seamless interaction between scientists, engineers, and clinicians. The very fact that you are commemorating Professor Valiyathan today, we need to go back and look at his wisdom when he created the Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Sciences and Technology precisely to bridge this gap between material scientists, engineers, chemists, biologists, and clinicians. It started off with a very lofty goal that you could have a hospital, and Sri Chitra Tirunal was the hospital that could collaborate and translate the discoveries made in the various institutions, including SCIMT, and make them products that could serve humankind. The evolution of Chitra valve by Dr. Valiyathan was indeed a crowning achievement that this is possible. And this happened in 1992, and I am aware of that very closely because I was associated with that process in some way. Unfortunately, to the best of my knowledge, and this is a very sad event in India, the success of Chitra valve has not been repeated since then. Correct me if I am wrong, in terms of scale and in terms of reach. We have had successes, but never in the scale and reach of what Chitra valve could do. We all need to introspect to some extent. Where have we failed Dr. Valiyathan's vision? I think we have collectively failed a vision that Dr. Valiyathan created in the mid-1980s in India. In a way, we have not been able to bridge this gap. In fact, in 1997, Dr. Valiyathan made me a chair of a committee. At that time, Dr. Mohandas was the director of Sri Chitra Tirunal Medical Institute, to actually ask this very question. And I was a member of a 3-member committee along with 2 other people, including a very well-known medical doctor from Bombay, to understand why is it that this clinical translation is not occurring in this country. And Valiyathan himself recognized that for all that thing that he did in the 80s, things were not happening the way it should have, And we went through this process. I spent a few days talking to the doctors at Chitra Tirunal. I spent a day talking to the scientists of the medical institute. And why is it that a pipeline of such products are not coming out from this one, at least from this one institute? Forget about all the other institutes of this country. And we learned certain lessons, of course. One is there is a silo in our working. We cannot deny that. In India, we work in silos, and that's a problem. And the second is, although the hospital, Chitra Tirunal, was created with a lofty vision of translating science into practice, the clinicians were overburdened with what is called patient care. And once the clinicians become preoccupied with patient care, they find little time to do anything else. And that's a reality. And that's a reality even today. You go to All India Institute of Medical Sciences in Delhi, which was created with a great goal of performing advance research in medical sciences. They had some of the finest medical professionals in terms of scientific professionals. But then, unfortunately, you go and see, I don't know how many of, I travel across the road many times. It's a sea of humanity that surrounds All India Institute of Medical Sciences. People are on the roads waiting for them to get in. And therefore, where will these medical professionals and scientists get time to perform clinical work and clinical translation? And that's the biggest challenge we face today. And if you go to another part of the world, especially the United States, and you'll see a completely different picture. There are medical schools within the campus of universities, and there are faculty who kind of bridge the two. And the medical schools in the campus of the universities in America are not meant for what is called OPD patient care. They are actually only meant for advanced medical care. For a general purpose patient care, they go to other hospitals. They do not come to the university medical colleges and university medical research facilities. So that kind of an ability to manage patient care and clinical research is something that we are not able to do in this country. As our population increases, our population has multiple problems. Our hospitals are woefully inadequate to meet the challenges of patient care. And therefore, we create institutions hoping that they will perform research, but ultimately, they all are only performing patient care, which of course is necessary, because without, I mean, how can you ignore patient care and say, I'm going to be doing research for the future, and ignoring the pain of the people at the present time? I think this is not possible, and I think there has to be a way found. I do hope that these hospitals that IITs and IISCs are creating do not become the same, because affordable health care is indeed a problem. In fact, I told Professor Rangarajan, the director of IISC, that, look, your patients will throng into your hospitals because they will think it's a government hospital. It's a cheap place to get a treatment. How are you going to, manage the crowd? And how are you going to keep those, great doctors doing research and not spending all their time in clinical work, in patient work? And I think this is a challenge. I hope the leadership of both all IITs and IIT Madras and IIT Bombay and IISc must have to meet. The reason is India has a complex web of medical hierarchy. We have public hospitals which are affordable to most of the people, and we have very expensive private hospitals which are not affordable. And therefore, when an IIT Bombay has a hospital, it is treated as a public hospital, And therefore, you will see patients. In fact, I told Professor Rangarajan to make a separate exit and entrance, to his hospital, so that, the campus of IISc does not become like a parking space and a place for patients' relatives to come and park themselves, Because, as you know, most of the relatives of the patients stay on the streets. You go to Tata Memorial here, I mean, for every patient, 10 people are living on the streets. Because that's what they have to take care of the patient, but they have nowhere to stay. That's the reality. So what I'm trying to say is this is the challenge of clinical translation in the country. We can sit and talk about it in nice hollowed conference rooms. The question basically is, how do we do it? And that's a challenge. I hope that somebody talks about this, somebody addresses this issue and figures out whether in the next foreseeable future of about 10, 20 years, do we have an alternative model of doing this? Otherwise, the science will stay in the laboratory and will not move into practice. So all I want to therefore conclude by saying is that Professor Valiyathan had a great vision in creating the Sri Chitra Tirunal group of institutions. We need to live up to that vision. We need to not only have one Chitra Tirunal Institute and one Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Science and Technology, we need to integrate a large number of research labs in biology, biomaterials, and so on, and mechanical engineering, biomechanics, electrical engineering, with clinicians who can then take on the joint collaboration to take these from what we call the bench to the bedside. And that's a challenge that we have. There is no dearth of opportunities for us. There is absolutely no dearth of opportunities for us, but we lack, in my opinion, a reasonably robust system to do so, and that's because of realities, and that's, we can't ignore these realities. We have to live with these realities, and within these realities, we have to seek a solution to this effort. And I think that's, if we can do that, if we can figure out a way of doing it, we will be possibly paying the best tribute to Dr. Valiath, and whom I have had the privilege of knowing for almost 30 years very closely. We need robust design, we need high reliabilities, we need easy maintenance of devices. We need devices. In India, the problem is that a lot of diagnostics get done in hospitals at very high cost. We need what we call the point of care diagnostics. Diagnostics that can go to the people rather than the people coming to the hospital. That's a model we have to develop. We need the diagnostic to go to the people wherever they are, and not asking them to travel 50 kilometers or 100 kilometers and go to a hospital to take an X-ray. Can we have a device of all kinds of diagnostic that will actually go to the people? That means it must be handheld, it must be frugal, it must be inexpensive, it must be reliable, and it must have all the functionalities in terms of data handling, data transmission, the digital infrastructure. A lot of Indian startup companies are today working on these kinds of diagnostics. A lot I've seen in various forums, I've sat in various committees and forums, great ideas and products that they say that we can take it to the patient, we can take it to the people who need it, rather than asking the patient to come to the hospital to undergo a diagnostic. And that's the model India needs, because India is a country which is large, where a large amount of our population who are underserved do not live necessarily close to a hospital. And very often, the very pain of taking a patient from their home to the hospital itself is such a major pain. In fact, in many cases, I've been a part of the ethics committee of a major hospital in Pune. I chaired the ethics committee for 10 years. And you know what? They can't get rural population as cohorts for trials, because they say even if they give them 100 rupees a day for transportation, they say we are not able, we will not come, because it's too difficult for them to come from even 100 kilometers. Therefore, most of the cohorts are, you have to search for from within the city, and it's very difficult to get cohorts within the city, very difficult to get, Most of the cohorts you get from people who do not have the money, they get a little free treatment, but they have to come from distance. And the traveling distances in this country is not easy, even if you give them an allowance of 100 rupees to come and go. So very often, in fact, we have had great difficulties in getting patient cohort enlistment for clinical trials. Very difficult to get cohort enlistment. Not that they're not available, but it's very difficult to get them because of the logistics and the planning that's required for them to travel. They have to come in the morning, they have to go in the evening, and they have to spend the whole day, in the hospital, just for 2 hours of some examination. This is a challenge, and that's one of the reasons why many global companies have stopped coming to India for clinical trials, for reasons of these types. We need a lot of innovation, we need a lot of discovery and design, we need scalability of everything that we do, we are unable to scale our discoveries, our inventions beyond a certain stage. Of course, we have great competition from some of the best companies in the world. And I think the lastly is a human perception. When it comes to health, people will go to any length to sacrifice in this country. Professor Valiathan, again, I want to say, he used to tell me a story, and I don't know whether it's still true or not. He used to tell me that when people used to come to Sri Chitra Tirunal for a valve replacement, normally a hospital will say to the patient's relative, do you want a Chitra valve at X price, or do you want a valve made by Boston Scientific or Medtronics at 5x price? It's an imported valve, this is an Indian valve. And most patients will take imported valve. That's a human perception. And in fact, he had enormous difficulty in trying to, get rid of this perception. Because when a patient is going to a hospital and the doctor says, this is an Indian valve at X price, and this is an imported valve from Medtronics or Boston Scientific at 5x price, you don't need an answer from the patient. You know what the answer is. They will rather pawn their wealth to get the imported valve. Because the feeling in the mind of even ordinary patient is an imported valve is better than the Indian valve. Although Chitra valve, I hope my colleague here can point out how many millions of people are living with today with Chitra valve in this country without any problem. Millions of patients have been implanted with Chitra valve without any problem. In spite of it, even today, if you go for a valve replacement, your doctor will ask, would you like an imported valve or an Indian valve? Okay? We go to your doctor for a stent, he will ask you whether you want an imported stent from Medtronics or an Indian stent. And you know the answer most patients will give. And that's a perception that we have, that in India, the quality is not good. And why would I risk my life with a product made in India? I would rather go for a product made abroad, even though it's far more expensive. Just think, each one of us, maybe if you're in the situation, what our answer will be. Now that change in perception that we need to bring in. If we do not bring in the change in perception, none of our Indian inventions in these areas will scale up to an extent that it requires to be scaled up. I'm sorry I've taken a long time. Thank you very much. Since you talked about Valiathan, a lot of memories of Valiathan came to my mind, and I have learned so much from him that I thought I should mention a few thoughts that he has shared with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for stressing on the enigmatic theme of the conference and for also highlighting the challenges in the field of biomaterial-based clinical applications. We're also grateful to Professor Shivram for sharing the contribution of Dr. Valiathan in this field. We're glad to announce that our Honorable Chancellor, Sri Samir Somaya, has joined us. I invite Sir to share a few thoughts.
Good morning. I told Dr. Pillai this morning that I will come and sit quietly so that I can sit quietly, but he always threatens me by putting me on the spot. Dr. Sivaram, sorry for being a little late. I had some work to attend to, and that's why, but I tried to be here. I just heard part of Dr. Sivaram's lecture about perception, and not to talk about bio for a moment. I remember trying to sell specialty chemicals which were slightly hard to handle to Germany in the late 90s. I went to a big, large German company, I will not name, and they made a statement. This is after auditing our facility and us passing the rigorous audits, that these kind of specialty chemicals which are hard to handle, we buy only from North America, Western Europe, Japan, or South Africa. And we do not buy this certainly from the developing world. I was a young boy. I was probably short of 30. I was not even 30, but I had worked very hard, because in India there was a lot of challenge in liberalization, and we were suffering from not being able to compete in what was the earlier import protected world. And we had struggled to make specialty chemicals which we thought would now make it to the foreign world. Then to face this kind of perception or discrimination, whichever way you want to call it. I went twice, thrice. Again, young 28-year-old, 29-year-old, going there with a simple bag and saying, please buy. And the third time I found a very nice man. And he said, this is not good. He didn't tell me the first two times why they were not buying from us. He just said, sorry. He means the earlier people. The third time this person told me why they were not buying. And he told me, there appears to be discrimination. He didn't say perception, he said discrimination. You are fully qualified, but you need to fight this presumption that an Indian product is poorer than a Western European, American, Japanese or South African product. So I request you go to Indo-German Chamber of Commerce and talk to them and find out indirectly if they can influence this. So I actually did go. I spoke to Mr. Kruger, who was at that time. I spoke to my father. My father was surprised. He knew Mr. Kruger. Mr. Kruger immediately called the Indian head of the German company, saying that, is this true? Of course, it was denied. But my friend from Germany, the purchase manager, had helped me. So it could not be denied. And immediately we started the business within then. And it is now 26 years. We are continuing that business and many more. I still remember going to another German company. I'm only naming Germans, but I'm not talking about, because all those relationships have endured. But I'm only trying to tell you that the perception battle takes place. And there we would stand outside the stall, again as a late in my 20s, trying to only get, my wife used to be the receptionist on our stall and serving chana singh to the people who would come. And we would try to get people to only just say, look at us. And we were not considered. And fast forward, when Mr. Schnabel, who was the head of that company, retired, a multi-billion-dollar German company, the only Indian company they invited to the retirement day was us. So just to show that how perception can change. I come to our own hospital, KJ Somai Hospital, and we tried to talk about how a teaching hospital can and should be one that can treat those who cannot afford and those who can afford. Because in the American system, teaching hospitals are at the forefront of education, healthcare, and research. and we must do it. So I still remember when I mentioned that to somebody in our own hospital, I was told that आपकी अमेरिका की बात अमेरिका में ही छोड़ के आओ, ये इंडिया में ऐसा शायद नहीं होगा. So I said, no, we have to do. And we have to fight this perception even in a person like me who can afford healthcare, that if I have a problem, I'll go to this teaching hospital and I'll go to my teaching hospital. And so it takes time to, I think, it takes time first to create quality, and then to continuously communicate that our quality is outstanding. And my aunt, my father-in-law, who had a problem 5-6 years ago, he went there for treatment when he was visiting Mumbai from Ahmedabad. My aunt, who's a trustee of the hospital, and normally we would have gone to Jaslok or to Breach Candy. She had 3 surgeries and she's 94. She's a very fit woman. She recovers from every surgery like a bouncing ball, she's very fast in recovery. But she's had 2 surgeries out of her 3 in the last 4 years were done there. One was a dental surgery, so we didn't do it there. And it was in COVID, so it was a difficult time. And even our own Vice Chancellor, when he had a heart issue, a very tough one, he went and chose there. Again, I'm talking about it not in that sense, I'm talking about it as a perception issue. We have to do quality. Similarly, clinical trials, Dr. Sivaram, you may know that 3-4 years ago, the idea was to create a clinical trial ability on our campus.
You mentioned that point actually. How to build that facility in this campus?
So currently we have 12 trials, 11 trials going on in our KJ Somaya hospital. And they are including Godavari, which is doing work on triple negative breast cancer, is working along with Aligarh Muslim University, along with ACTREC, along with Somaya. Sanofi is doing a global trial, so we are creating that. I think the future needs to be one of where we do drug discovery as well here. We are the pharmacy to the world, we should also be the discoverers to the world. In our plan, we have master planned these 2 sites, Ayur Vihar and Vidya Vihar, thinking of at least building 2 to 3 million square feet of research lab space in the next 20-30 years. And that will be enormous. So, I'm looking at Kendall Square in MIT Cambridge as an example and seeing how we can benchmark with that. So, we should very quickly, with all the support, try to create, whether it's a vivarium, whether it's a hospital, and all kinds of ecosystem needs to be created to do this. So anyway, thank you for putting me on the spot, but I was not ready for this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your invaluable insights, sharing your vision, and continuous encouragement and support. We're indeed privileged to have Dr. Hari Krishna Verma, Head BMT Wing, SCTIMST Trivandrum with us today. He is an elected Fellow of Biomaterial Science and Engineering by the International Union of Societies for Biomaterial Science and Engineering and former President of SBAOI. His key research interests include research and development in various bioactive ceramics. I now invite Dr. Verma to deliver his address.
Honorable Vice Chancellor of Somaya Vidya Vihar University, Professor Samir, Distinguished Professor Vice Chancellor, Professor V. N. Rajashekhar Pillai, eminent Professor Shivaram, Professor Lekhwale, Dr. Biji, Professor Rohit, my distinguished colleagues, friends. My duty is just to introduce or tell you something about the Society of Biometals, Society of and Artificial Organs India, one of the largest biometal societies globally with over more than 1,000 members, was initiated as a non-profit professional organization as a platform for interaction among the scientists and engineers working in the field of biometals and artificial organs in India. About 40 years back, the professionals mainly from Sri Chitra, Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, IIT Delhi, IIT Kharagpur, and Jadavpur University met in Trivandrum, and the Society of SBOA was incorporated in March 12, 1986. And Professor Valithan and Professor C.P. Sharma, these people, they were very behind creating the society. And during this period, the biometals field was in infancy in India. And Professor Valithan used to invite all the great names at that time, whether it's a Bayer or a Langer or a Professor William Kolff, to institutes in India for various meetings of the society as such. So the objective was the society to cultivate an ecosystem nationwide and for the growth of fundamental and technologically oriented research in the biomaterials and artificial organs. Since this was the significant societal relevance, another objective was to bring together clinicians, industry professionals, and researchers for accommodation and the national labs to accelerate the specific transnational research, which we lack. SBOI later became a full member of the International Union of Society of Biomaterial Science and Engineering, IUSBSC, and actively involved in the organization of World Biomaterials Congress. And in the last Biomaterials Congress held at South Korea, Daegu, more than 50 researchers and scientists and academicians represented India. The active researchers from diverse academic domains, chemistry, material science, biotechnology, bioengineering, mechanical engineering, polymer technology, clinical engineering, and clinicians and industry professionals from a vibrant platform of SBOI. Currently, SBOI is and has foreign members from USA, Canada, Singapore, and many other foreign countries. The SBOI conducts international conferences every year in different parts of the country and support the inter-regional conference in biomaterials, which is attended by many foreign. In this context, I would really congratulate Somaiya Vidya University and the team to have a biomaterials congress here, and specifically on the topic of translation. Why I am saying is very important. We are importing more than nearly 1 lakh crores of rupees of device every year, and almost 80% is from importing. Only less than 20% of the class A, we have different classes, so class A device or B devices are only making in India. This is the big challenge. And I completely agree with Professor Shivaram on this concern and other thing, because as he said, there are several problems associated with the regulation and everything, and I want to say that last about 6 months, Chitra has brought about 3 products into the market because of the regulatory clearance and the companies could manufacture. Why? Because a post-COVID scenario was tremendously changed the perception, which otherwise if you apply for a regulatory approval, it takes years. But that has changed, and even especially for the IP regime also accelerated due to this pandemic. So I don't take more time. No, I once again congratulate the whole team, and I wish the students to participate more in the society as well as in the meeting, so that one thing I can hear last 2 months back when we are having the national conference at Trivandrum, there are more than 30 colleagues or friends from the abroad, because they are also very active professionals in this field, are attended and regularly for this conference. So, and we give a lot of awards at the students and other things. So once again, encourage our students to come again and meet again, and it's a very close society, so that you can encourage many people, so that our ultimate aim is to take this India forward in the development of medical technology in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for giving us the historical background of the Society of Biomaterials and Artificial Organs India and sharing its commendable vision and mission. We shall now have a special tribute to Dr.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we would like to pay homage to a luminary who have left an indelible mark in our society, Professor Marthandan Shankaran Valiyathan. In a world that often celebrates the momentary, privilege to celebrate a legacy built on vision, perseverance, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. Born on May 24, 1934, journey into medicine began with MBBS degree from the Trivandrum Medical College. He further acquired surgical training at the University of Liverpool, gaining a fellowship from the Royal College of Surgeons. and then specialized in cardiac surgery at Johns Hopkins University in USA. On returning to India in 1971, he worked in PGI Chandigarh and then moved to the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. Professor Valiathan's career took a celebrated trajectory with the establishment of Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute for Medical Sciences and Technology in Trivandrum, reaching its zenith during his tenure as its founder director. His vision of combining medicine and technology under a single institutional framework, as in Sri Chitra, has come of age and gained unprecedented acceptance in India. He initiated the medical device and biomaterials innovation programs at Sri Chitra, which resulted in the development of many indigenous devices like artificial heart valve, blood bags, oxygenators, vascular grafts, and scores of other products. This pioneering effort, in a way, helped to establish an indigenous medical device industry base in the country. During discussions, he always used to impress upon the team members, our job is not complete till the fruits of research reaches the needy patients. Inculcation of this attitude could have been the drive which helped Sri Chitra to excel in technology translation. Beyond his surgical expertise and ingenious creativity, Dr. Valiathan's legacy is equally deeply defined by his commitment to medical education and alternative systems of Indian medicine. As the first Vice Chancellor of Manipal University, he played a pivotal role in establishing academic programs and institutions like Manipal Academy of Higher Education. He was a celebrated author of multiple titles in Ayurveda, including the Legacy series on Sushruta, Karaka, and Vagbhata. He wanted to bring a scientific basis for the treatment using Ayurvedic techniques. His thirst for knowledge and commitment to research earned him numerous accolades, including the hallowed Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, and Padma Vibhushan awards from the Government of India. Professor Valiathan was recognized by the International Union of Societies for Biomaterial Science and Engineering as Fellow Biomaterial Science and Engineering for his contribution in this field. Professor MSP, as he was fondly referred to, was an inspiring leader, institution builder, medical education expert, and healthcare technology innovator. His journey, marked by both triumphs and challenges, serves as a testament to the power of resilience and relentless pursuit of one's passions and beliefs. Beyond the public persona, Professor Valiathan was also a keen mentor, advocate for justice, and reminded us that at the heart of true greatness lies the spirit of giving back and lifting others up. As we celebrate the legacy of Professor Valiathan, let us carry forward the light he has bestowed upon us by embodying the values he championed, by continuing the work he began, and by inspiring others as he has inspired us. Before concluding, let me thank the organizers of this international conference on Biomaterial-based Therapeutics and Devices, ICBTD 2025, for offering me this proud privilege. Thank you.
That was indeed inspiring. May Dr. Valiathan's legacy be a guidance for us so that we make a meaningful difference in this world. As we approach the culmination of the inaugural session, I invite the co-convener of the conference, Professor Ramesh Lekhurwale, Director, IQSC SVU, to propose the official vote of thanks.
Good morning, one and all. Before giving the formal vote of thanks, I just wanted to update what mechanical engineering department as well as the student has done so far. I have started this activity in July 2017. We have started the BETIC lab, that is Biomedical Engineering Technology Instrument Cell, in collaboration with IIT Mumbai. With that, we got one patent granted as a suture device. Then 4 PhD students are working under in this particular field, and one already completed. One more is about to complete and 2 more is in progress. Then one more, again the recent development that I wanted to share with you. Mechanical engineering, that is KJ Somaiya College of Engineering, KJ Somaiya School of Engineering and Physiotherapy is developing a gate lab, for which we got 1 crore plus equipment, software in the form of donation from Jupiter Hospital, and in the next month that lab will be inaugurated. So this is the development what we have done so far. I will start with our formal vote of thanks. A very good evening, a very good morning to one and all. It's my privilege to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks on behalf of Somaiya Vidya University, Mumbai, at the International Conference of Clinical Translation, Biomedical-based Therapeutics and Devices. First and foremost, I would like to express our deep gratitude to our management for their support in organizing this conference. A special thanks to our esteemed Chancellor, Sri Samir Somaiya sir, Vice Chancellor, Professor Rajeshekharan Pillai sir, and Chair of this conference, Professor Shivaram sir, for their valuable presence and inspiring words. Your leadership and guidance have truly enriched this conference and motivated us to push the boundaries of innovation in biomaterial and clinical applications. A special thanks to our plenary speaker, keynote speaker, invited speaker and session chair for sharing their expertise and research work. Your insightful presentation will be surely provide a valuable perspective on advancement in biomaterial, diagnostic, therapeutic solution, fostering meaningful discussion and collaboration. We are also deeply grateful to all our distinguished delegates, researchers and participants who have travelled from the various institutions and industries to be a part of this event. Your active participation has made this conference a vibrant and enriching experience. A heartfelt appreciation goes to the organizing committee, faculty member and the student volunteer who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure the smooth execution of this conference. Your dedication, meticulous planning and teamwork have made this event possible, and we truly value your efforts. We extend our sincere thanks to our sponsors and collaboration for their generous support. Your contribution have played a crucial role in making this conference reality and enabling a platform for meaningful knowledge and exchange innovations. I would also like to acknowledge the technical support team and the other staff for their assistance in ensuring the seamless execution of conference sessions, presentations, discussion. Your efforts are greatly appreciated. Finally, a big thank you to each one of you for your presence and participation. Your enthusiasm, commitment to advancing this field of biomaterial inspire us all. We hope this conference will provide with valuable insight and opportunity for the future collaboration. Thank you once again.
We shall now proceed to the plenary session, which will be delivered by Professor Rohit Srivastava, Himanshu Patel Chair Professor, Department of Biosciences and Bioengineering, IIT Bombay. The session will be chaired by the Chair of the conference, Professor S. Shivaram. I request Professor Shivaram and Professor Srivastava to kindly join us on the dais.